The next event is described in Shiva Purana. For this, now we are in a barren land. Not just a barren land, a land that is scorched by heat and flames. What is the source of this heat? The source of this heat is a tapas that is being performed by a Rakshasa. A Rakshasa has been performing tapas for eons, for several decades, for several centuries, trying to please Brahma. And this Asura is none other than Tarakasura. His tapas reaches a point where everyone is feeling the heat of his tapas, and they all go to Brahmadeva and ask him to go and bless this Asura. Finally, Brahmadeva appears and tells, O Tarakasura, I am pleased with your tapas, please end your tapas and ask what you want. Tarakasura tells, I want two boons. The first boon is, in the world that you have created, Brahmadeva, I should be the only strongest person. No one should equal me in strength. This is the first boon. The second boon is, when Shiva marries Shakti and a son is born to them, and when that son becomes the commander-in-chief of the Devatas, and he wages a war against me, and he uses a weapon against me, only then should I be killed. A very convoluted boon here, but it has very important underlying implications. If Shiva has to marry Shakti, Shakti should take a human form, and according to him, Sati is dead, so there is no human form of Shakti. So this cannot happen. Even if this happens, they should have a son. So Ganesha is created. He is not born to Shiva and Shakti, Shiva and Parvati. So that cannot happen. They should have a son that is born to them, and that son should become the commander-in-chief of the Devatas. He should wage a war. He should fight against Tarakasura. Only then will this person die. So he is thinking that this will never happen, so he will always be alive. Again, every Asura is programmed in a way. They are initially very pious. They do a very rigorous tapas. They get a boon. Then they start spreading havoc. Similarly, Tarakasura also, once he gets this boon, he starts going on a rampage. He goes to Indraloka. He dethrones Indra. He starts his destructive activities all around the world. Now, as this is happening, Shakti decides that it is time to reincarnate. From here on, the story that I say is from one of the great works in Sanskrit Sahityam, which is Kumara Sambhavam, written by Kalidasa. Kalidasa has written Kumara Sambhava and all the further stories taken from that. Now, Shakti has decided that it is time to reincarnate, and she chooses where she is born. So, the thing that we have to understand is all the Trimurtis and all the Devatas, they decide where, to whom and how they are born. If you see in Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, Vishnu, when all the Devatas go and tell Ravana is spreading havoc, he is destroying everything, please protect us. Vishnu tells, Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharathatmajaha. He tells that I will be born. How will I be born? Manusham, as a human being. What will I be called? Rama. So later on, the Namakarana that was done was namesake. Vishnu himself had told that I will be born as Rama. He himself has given his name. Further, to whom will I be born? Dasharathatmajaha. I will be born to Dasharatha. So in this way, all the Devatas decide where, how and whom, to whom they are born. Shakti also decides that she will be born to the king of the Himalayas, Himavan, and his wife Mena Devi. So having decided this, on a very auspicious day, she is born. And this auspicious day is the same day that Ramanavami is celebrated. They are born in different nakshatra, but on the same day. Rama and Parvati are born on the same day. And Kalidasa beautifully describes, again, I would request you to read Kumara Sambhavam with all the English translations to understand the beauty that Kalidasa has brought to this work. But he tells, Prashanta Dikpamshu Vivikta Vasam, the day when she was supposed to be born, Parvati, the breeze was cool, everyone was experiencing it because she was born. Ramanavami is in the middle of summer, the heat is intense. Ramanavami comes at that point of time in summer. But on this day, when Parvati is supposed to be born, the breeze is very cool and everyone is pacified. And constantly there is a hum of Shankha, that is the musical notes of Shankha is being played. And there is constant showering of flowers. So this is a very beautiful day, and Sukhayat Janmadinam Bhaguva. This became a day that brought about happiness to the entire world. So that is the day when Shakti finally emerged as the daughter of Himavan and Mena. And what should they name her? Since she was born into the Parvata Raja, she is called Parvati. Since she was born to a mountain, she is called Girija. Since she was of a dark wheatish complexion, she is called Gauri. Gauravarna Gauri. So in this way, different names were given to her. And as any other deity, she starts growing very quickly. And again, once when the time is right, our person of interest comes, Narada. He arrives at the doors of Himavan and Mena, and they perform all the Atiti Satkara, they do all the necessary activities, and finally Himavan and Mena are interested. They know that Narada is very good at astrology. So they tell Narada Muni, you have anyway come here, please look at the palm of Parvati and tell how her future is. Now Narada is in a fix because he has to read the hand of Jagannatha. So he looks at Jagannatha and tells that what should I do? Parvati through her eye sense tells that don't you know acting? Start your acting. So Narada tells okay as you wish. So he takes the hand of Parvati and he tells Sujata Rekha, all the lines on her palms are very beautiful, very auspicious. She'll lead a very nice life. But one of those lines is a little unique, little peculiar, little different. Now any parent, they don't worry about 100 good things that a person has told about their daughter or their son. They worry about that one small thing that is peculiar, not even wrong, but peculiar. And they all start, both Mena and Himavan, they start asking, what is this peculiar thing that you're talking about? No, she has all very good things. No, but you told about that peculiar thing, right? What is that? It is, no, I see that her marriage is a little bit of a peculiar, unique event. Why, what happened? No, the person that she will marry, he does not have any parents. Oh, they feel they are a little disappointed. What is this? The husband to their daughter won't have a family. Then he tells, also he is a very nomadic person. He does not stay put in a place and he likes to roam around in the smashan, in the graveyard. Now they both sit down. And then he tells, also he has a very peculiar interest. He starts wearing garlands made out of skulls and he starts, putting snakes on his body. Now they are nearly unconscious. And then they tell, what is this Narada Muni? You told she has a very good life, now you are telling all these things. How can this be a auspicious thing? He tells, oh Himavan and Mena, whom do you think I am describing? I am describing none other than Shiva. And she, remember, Daksha did a mistake by thinking that Shakti is his daughter. You don't do the mistake. She is Shakti. She is just born as a daughter, but she is Shakti and she has to marry Shiva. So be happy that she is going to marry Shiva. So please make the preparations for that. So now once they realize that their daughter will be marrying Shiva, finally Himavan is told to go and meet Shiva, who is now doing tapas in the Himalayas. So Himavan goes and he starts going every day and cleaning the place where Shiva is doing his meditation, giving him the necessary water, flowers that he'll need, and he starts doing all this. And as he becomes more and more acquainted to Shiva, he once brings up a point. Mahadeva, I have a daughter Parvati, she is very young, she is very interested in coming and serving you, please can you allow this? All this is just to bring her closer to Shiva. Shiva says, sure, you can bring her and she can help, she can do the service, the seva that she wants to do. So having received this confirmation, Parvati is sent with a few of her friends and every day they start going to the place where Shiva is. They start cleaning, they start making all the arrangements correct, they start bringing fresh water, fresh flowers, and they start helping Shiva with his meditation. As this is happening, several centuries have passed after Tarakasura's destruction has started. Now all the devatas are very, they can't control it anymore, they can't sustain Tarakasura's reign anymore. So they all go to Brahmadeva and ask, Brahmadeva, you gave the boon, now what is the next thing? When will all this be rectified? Brahmadeva tells, everything will happen at its own pace, nothing can happen just because you want it to happen fast. But Indra is not ready to keep quiet. So what he does is, he calls Manmatha. Manmatha is the god of love. So he calls Manmatha and tells, Manmatha, I have a job for you. See, Shiva and Shakti will eventually they have to come together. I want you to quicken this process. Use your power to make this happen quickly. And Manmatha is someone who wants to please everyone. He wants to, if Indra has called me and given me a task, he feels proud that no one else can do it, only I can do it. So he does, don't worry, I will do it. So he goes along with his wife Rati Devi and his friend Vasanta. Vasanta is a spring season. So whenever Manmatha goes, Vasanta follows is the idea. So he goes to Himalaya And as they go closer and closer to where Parvati and Shiva are, at this point Parvati is cleaning the feet of Shiva and she's offering the flowers at his feet. So they're very close. Manmatha looks at this and he thinks this is the right time. So he tells Vasanta, his friend, create an atmosphere that is suitable for my job. So what Vasanta does is, Vasanta's job is to creating an ambience where Manmatha's job will become easier. Once Vasanta's actions start, all the flowers start to bloom. Fragrance emerges everywhere. The birds start singing. The breeze becomes very cool and comfortable, and the sunlight becomes not too harsh. So all this environment is created by Vasanta. At the right moment, Manmatha is called Panchabana. He has 5 different arrows, and when he shoots them in succession, the power of love enhances stage by stage. So Manmatha takes his first arrow, he targets it at Shiva and he releases. When that hits, for a moment, Shiva, who is doing penance, opens his eyes. The first thing that he sees is Parvati, who is serving him at his feet, and he thinks, what a beautiful lady. Who will not want to marry her? This is a thought that immediately comes. But in an instant, he takes back his composure, he takes back control of his mind and thinks, this is not something that can happen naturally. There is some other force that is doing this. He looks around and he spots Manmatha hiding behind a tree, ready to shoot his second arrow. Immediately, without even in a fraction of a second, Shiva opens his third eye and the fire that comes out of that burned Manmatha. And how did he burn? Karpura iva danthopi. He burned it in a way that you don't even have a residue. Karpura, when you burn camphor, you don't get any residue. When you burn wood, you get ash, you get some residue. But he burned him like camphor without even leaving a residue. All this happened in an instant. Parvati, all she remembers is she was serving. Shiva got up and he vanished. Because once he burned Manmatha, he vanished from that scene because he feels that I may lose control over my mind again. So he vanishes. So all the friends of Parvati are looking. Till this point, Shiva was constant. He was not just there whenever they did the puja and the seva. But today, suddenly, when she is that close, when she touched Shiva, Shiva stood here and he vanished. Parvati feels humiliated that what happened just by touching, just by my touch, Shiva felt some sort of Shiva wants to be separated from me. So she feels humiliated. And there Rati is crying that my husband was killed. And Parvati does not realize this. Then Narada Muni arrives and he tells both of them. One side Parvati, one side Rati Devi. He tells Rati Devi, there was some papa karma that Manmatha had done for which he had to bear this. But don't worry, when Shiva and Parvati come together, even he will be brought back. So he pacifies Rati Devi. And then Parvati is thinking, now what should I do? My goal is fixed. I want to marry Shiva. I want to attain Shiva. But now, whatever I was doing till now, he is no longer going to come and receive my seva. Now what should I do? Narada tells, Vidyasu Shrutirutrushta. Among all the forms of knowledge, Shruti, that is the Vedas, are of the most prime importance. And they are the most consolidated form of knowledge. Rudra Ekadashini Shrutau. Among the Shrutis, the Shri Rudram is the heart of the Vedas. And in that Shri Rudra, Panchakshari, the Panchakshari mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, is the most consolidated form. And even in that, Shiva Ityaksharadvayam, the 2 letters Shiva consolidates all the knowledge that we have to get. So he tells, do Shiva Puja and uses Panchakshari mantra and do tapas. Having been guided by Narada, finally Parvati comes back to her parents and she tells, whatever I was doing did not work, now I am going to do tapas and don't stop me. While her mother tried to stop her, telling that please don't go and do tapas, you are not meant to do tapas. She finally, having not accepted any of this, she goes to his father. So Himavan is understanding. He understands that this is her life's goal. So there is no point in stopping her. So he tells, okay, be careful, and he sends. She goes to a peak which will later be called as Gauri Shankara. So she goes to that peak and she starts doing tapas. Here again, Kalidasa's poetic caliber, it comes into picture. He tells, Parvati was once a princess. How did she live? She lived by wearing gold, silk garments. Now she is wearing the garments that sannyasis wear. Before she used to wear golden ornaments. Now what she is doing, she is wearing darba grass. The darba grass that you get, she is using that as a belt. And darba is very sharp, it cuts. And as she ties this belt, it is creating cuts on her skin and it is bruising her. She used to sleep on soft beds and soft pillows. And she used to be disturbed when the hair comes in her way when she is sleeping. But now she has tied that hair in a jata, in a mated hair, and she is sleeping on the floor. And what is her pillow? Her hand is her pillow now. So that Parvati who was brought up in a very safe way, in a very careful way, now she is leading a life of a sannyasi, taking all these hardships. So initially her tapas is very straightforward. She starts doing the regular puja and the sages who come to her, she does the atiti satkara. But once she understands that even that is not sufficient, she increases the intensity of her tapas. And Kalidasa beautifully describes, he tells, how is her tapas? In summer, what does she do? She puts 4 huge blazing fires in the north, east, west and south directions. She is standing in the middle and Surya Deva is on the top, the 5th fire is on the top, and the entire day, without blinking, she stares at the sun in summer. And as this happens, not just the wood that is scorching, even her skin starts scorching. She starts developing black marks around her eyes and on her skin as well. So this is the intensity with which she starts doing tapas in summer. As summer gives way to rainy season, the first rains that fall, they create a hissing sound when they extinguish the fire of the wood, and it also creates the extinguishing sound when it hits her skin, which is also scorched. When she arrived at Gauri Shankara, she had built a small hut where she was living. But as the rainy season came, she stopped staying in the hut and she started doing tapas outside in the thundering rain with all the lightning. And that was her tapas. Later on, when the rainy season ended and the winter season came, she started doing tapas neck deep in the cold waters, ice cold waters of Ganges, Ganga. And as the snow accumulated around her, she did not give a thought and she continued doing tapas in the cold environment. So this became such a big incident that sages and rishis from all over the world came to witness this tapas because she had surpassed all the previous yogis and siddhas who had done tapas in that short span of time. So everyone came to see how we should do tapas. They started learning from her by looking at how she was doing tapas. So as this was progressing, again she used to have a lot of people come visit her and talk to her. And on one such day, a very vriddha brahmana, a very old brahmana, he comes to her place where she is doing tapas. Looking at him, she welcomes him and she does all the atiti satkara and he tells, please give me some water. I am very thirsty, I have travelled far to just come and see you. So she brings water and she gives it to him. And he tells, do you have anything to eat? At this point, what has happened is, Parvati initially started her tapas by eating the fruits that she obtained. And another thing is, for water, how did she drink water? Kalidasa tells, as she is doing tapas, if there is rainy season, she opens her mouth. She does not move from her place. She opens her mouth. Whatever water falls into her mouth is what she drinks. She does not go looking for water. If it is not raining, if she is standing under a tree, the dew drops that fall from the tree, that is all she will drink. That too, she won't go in search of the dew drops. Where she is standing, if the dew drop falls, that is her water. And later on, she even stops eating fruits and she starts eating the leaves that have dried and fallen from the trees. And later on, she even stops eating those leaves, and that's where she gets the name Aparna. Parna is leaf. Aparna, one who does not even eat leaves, is Aparna. So when this Brahmana comes and tells that, give me something to eat, she has to go searching for fruits that she can give to this Brahmana. And finally, she gets the fruits and she gives it to him. He eats, he drinks the water, and he's satisfied. And then he starts talking. I know I'm relieved, my thirst and hunger are relieved. But Parvati, I came here because I heard about your tapas. I have come from a long way. I only came here because the word of your tapas has reached far and wide. And someone told me about your tapas and I wanted to see it firsthand and experience it, so I have come here. And he tells, see, Himalayas did not become pure, they did not become great. Even when Ganga came from Swarga, it did not become great. And Saptarshis came and did puja here to Shiva. It has become great because you are doing penance here. And that penance is what is bringing Himalayas its greatness, nothing else. And finally he tells, Kalidasa does not just tell us a story, he tells us what is the right etiquette when you are talking to a person. When you go to a house, when you are the Atiti, The way you ask your hosts questions, how you ask about their welfare, that is what Kalidasa does. Now Parvati is doing tapas. So the questions he asks are very beautiful. He's telling, you are doing yajnas. So are you getting enough wood, firewood for your yajnas? You are doing all the puja. Are you getting fresh water in sufficient quantities to do your puja? He asks, are you doing tapas within your capacity, within your physical capability? Because it is Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhana. This body is what will help you do your tasks. So don't overexert in a way that you cannot continue doing your tapas. So do it in your capacity. After having discussed all this, he tells, see, they have been speaking for this long. Again, Parvati has been responding with corresponding answers, and the Brahmana tells, see, they have been talking for some time. But there is a saying that if a person speaks 7 words with a stranger, or if she takes 7 steps with a stranger, they are no longer strangers, they are friends. Saptapadi, Saptapada. He tells, if you speak 7 words with a stranger, you become friends. If you take 7 steps with a stranger, you become husband and wife. So, we have been speaking. So now don't consider me as a stranger. I am your friend. What is the reason that you are doing this tapas? This is intense tapas. There should be some reason that you are doing it for. And he asks, what is that reason? Because you are born in a very big clan. You are born in a clan of Himalayas. So you don't have to worry about being born in a good family. You are already there. You are beautiful. Your beauty is rivaled by all the 3 worlds. So you don't have to ask for beauty. You don't have to go searching for wealth because your family is a royal family. And you have youth. You are a very young lady. You don't have to go in search of youth. If these are all not what you are desiring for, what is it that you are desiring for? If you want to gain control over the Indraloka, don't worry. Himalaya is considered Devabhumi. This is where the gods always walk. So you are already in Devabhumi. But are you also looking for a husband that you are intending to marry? What the Brahmana is trying to do is he is checking off all the common things that people do tapas for. You do it for money, you do it for power, you do it for wealth. So he is checking out all those things, and finally he reaches a point where he tells, but are you looking for a companion? Now Parvati, she has been quiet for all these questions. When he talks about the companion, she sighs. Listening to that sigh, he tells, now I realize that it is a companion that you are looking for. But if you are searching for a companion, you should realize it is a gem that is sought after. The gem should not go seeking. You want that gem. People should come seeking you. You should not go seeking someone else. If you are doing that, then the person whom you are seeking is a stone-hearted person. Because who will want someone like you, Parvati, who is so beautiful, so delicate, to do such a severe penance? How can he see this and witness this and still keep quiet? So, that person is a stone-hearted person that you are looking for. Then he starts telling, no, tell me, I have done tapas. I have personally done tapas. I have also gained some tapas phala. I will give you 50% of it. You have also done some tapas. You have some fruits that you have gained from that tapas. I have also done tapas. I will give you 50% of my tapas. You take that, and if that fulfills, achieve what you want to do in your tapas. But for that, you have to be transparent. You should tell me what is the goal of your tapas. Tell me who is it that you want to